Hey everybody. All right, so I've temporarily strapped the harness in place, make sure I was all good with my cables. I still have the coils and the tachometer lead to get connected. This is for the fuel sending unit, but I have tied all of the grounds that came from the leads into one ground with an extra wire coming out, tying it to chassis ground. That ground goes all the way back to the mow unit. The frame is grounded through cables, but I added another ground here. Like I said, you can never have enough grounds over time, you know, oxidation, stuff like that. So multiple connection points is what is really needed. I added the horn leads to this connector, so they go up and they go up front, so those still have to be connected to go to the horn. But like I said, that'll be able to disconnect and come out with the left hand control handlebars. So with that being said, that's done. I'll go ahead and install the coils and we'll get those connected. I'm not sure what kind of connections I'm going to use. I don't know if I'm going to use DTs or something else, but we'll see when that time comes. Even though I think I have a 3-pin on the DT, so I may just use a DT connector. Well, I take that back, because the coils, I want them wired independently, so if a coil fails, you can replace the coil. So I'll most likely wire those with 2 separate connectors. And then after that, we just start working our way back, and then we're ready to roll. I still have, you know, little things like put these on the switches on the controls, you know, simple things. But at this point, we'll stop this, and then I will work on the coils, and we'll kind of come back and see what I've done. That's it. Hey everybody. All right, I wanted to cover something real quick on these. These are the stock coils. This bike was running whenever I got it, so I'm not worried about the coils at this point. But I replaced the cables and put new NGK boots on here. These style coils, they're just a push fit. The wire slides in and you give it a good push and it locks over a pin that's inside of the coil pack. But the rubber sleeves that was on the old cables was old and dingy and really in bad shape. So I wanted my nice new cables, and I didn't want that whole sleeve on there. So what I used to hold these cables in place, since I didn't have the rubber sleeve, is I had some marine heat shrink. I'm not sure which direction. I got this a long time ago. Like I said, I only had 2 full sticks of the size that I needed, and it was a little bit tight to slide over this, so I just took some needle nose pliers and stretched it out a little bit so it would fit over the ends. And then you heat it up, and the nice thing with it is it actually has a glue in it, like a hot melt glue that's lined inside the heat shrink. So when it shrunk down on there, the glue will basically lock the cable so they can't slide out, plus it slid over the locking pin here. So I figured I'd share that, so if you have the same thing, you can potentially use that idea. So that's it. All right, ladies and gents, the front section is basically wired with the exception of the fuel tank sending unit. So everything's temporarily zip tied in place. All the cables, it looks tough, but it was actually rather easy putting it all on this plate, you know, unbolt it and then run my zip ties through for the bottom cables, because there's 2 cables that run on the bottom side of this plate, and then the other 2 connectors run on top, and then the two coils, which I wired them up and ran these connectors right here. I ended up using the DT connectors, which I'm perfectly fine with. Other than that, it's all done here, and we can start focusing and working our way back to the rear brake switch. I got to put my diode, my 1N4001 diode in here, and then connect the remaining wires here, well, from the TCI, and then this is the oil and neutral switch, but those will run down here and tie in to those appropriate switches. This bike didn't come with an oil pressure warning, but I'm going to put one in it. I ordered a 8 psi pressure switch, and this engine has 3 caps on it where you can test the oil pressure. So what I'm going to do is take one of the caps, and it requires a hex to take the cap off. Well, I'm going to drill that hex out and tap it for the 1/8 inch MPT, which is what the oil pressure switch is, and screw the pressure switch into that, and then run in conjunction with the level indicator, because the level indicator, if the oil's too low, you get it goes to ground, so it'll illuminate your oil light. If you have too low a pressure, the oil switch will go to ground, which will illuminate your thing. So I'm just going to share those 2 lines, so I have one or the other. The oil pressure switch is a big, not the pressure switch, but the float level is just a big plug, and I left it in there, and it wired and it was working. So I'm going to just use the 2 items and wire them as one for my oil indicator, and then the neutral switch goes to ground, which is on this side of the engine. So that will wrap up these 2 wires, and then I have the special connector that I ordered from the link that I gave you earlier in episode 4. So we'll get this done, and then the rest of it's all back at the mow unit. And then once I get it to the mow unit, I'll cut them to length, but I won't terminate it yet in the mow unit, simply because I want to go ahead and put my wire loom tape on everything, and then because I don't want to have to take the harness back out and take it out of the M unit to tape it all back up. So anyways, this is where we're at, and we'll come back here in a little bit after I get this segment done, and we'll talk about it. All right, we're now getting down to the wire. No pun intended here. Anyways, I got most of the connections done here. I still have to add my diode. I have wired up the rear brake switch. I have the neutral switch, the oil pressure switch and level switch. Those are tied into one wire. Those are going in and coming up through here. I already wired in the alternator connectors. I might use a hobby style connector for battery connectors on here because they're gold plated. They're really good high current connectors, but I had put heat shrink around it, but they're like a yellow or orange color. And this is an XT60 connector. You can get them in 3-pin. So if you have a standard voltage regulator with 3 outputs, they make these in 3-pin as well. So really a nice connector. I wired in the oil switch and the neutral switch all come up to here to this connector. I used a standard Honda style connector because it's underneath the seat and I'm not too worried about waterproof. It's just a to ground signal. So the only remaining portion left is the back section, which goes to the mow unit, the wires that connect into the start solenoid, and the tail light connections. And we're pretty much wrapping it up. It's getting kind of late here, so I'm going to call it an evening, and we'll touch back and when I have a little bit farther along. We'll see you again.